Kansas has a unique history, again, because of its relationship with the Civil War and slavery.
When you look at Wichita's black history, there are so many outstanding people here, or from here now.
There is a community here that has a rich history to add to the African American story.
Wichita has a history that many don't realize exists. A fight for equality, a fight for freedom. The African American community in Wichita stood up many times for what was right, either to help build this city up or bring civil rights to their community.
We've had family members and friends come from Oklahoma, Denver, California, and they want to see old Wichita. They want to see the history, the foundation, what built this city.
From a vibrant African American community at the inception of the city to one of the earliest lunch counter sit-ins in the nation, the African American story in Wichita is one you need to know.
Everyone who comes to the museum to find out more about the significant contributions that Kansans have made in Wichita, Kansas, and nationally.
Denise Sherman is the executive director of the Kansas African American Museum.
We want people to find out more about how Kansas was not only a free state, but was very controversial, having African Americans or former slaves relocate to Kansas and actually establish this wonderful territory.
The museum is the place where the history of Black Wichita is documented and preserved. Sitting in one of the oldest African American built structures in the city, the museum is home to photographs and relics and items you won't find anywhere else.
The Kansas African American Museum is the hub of Black history in Wichita.
It's very important that this museum exists.
That everything that they look at, like Hattie McDaniel up there, okay, like Chester Lewis, these are individual names from here that made worldwide history.
They do a good job in the exhibits of giving you a crisp, fresh look at subject matter that can make sense to you as far as a story.
It's a story worth knowing. Wichita has a history of being a place of peace, even dating back before Wichita was even called a city.
This is when the town came to where the two rivers come together. It was an area where Native Americans, even if they were warring tribes, they would come here during summer months, fish, hunt, do everything they needed to do to prepare themselves for the winter and then go back to wherever the tribes were located. But while they were here, this was like the United Nations, no warfare.
Wichita is home to Hattie McDaniel, the first African American to ever win an Oscar. She won that award by playing the role of Mammy in Gone with the Wind.
I want to speak to your mom about you.
Even before segregated schools, Wichita had an impact.
Kansas embraced the idea that all people could go to all the schools. So if you were African American or even an Indian, you were allowed to attend a white school. Therefore, the promotion of integration was celebrated.
Today, there is a new way to celebrate the rich culture Wichita has, and it's an interactive experience that starts with your phone.
Users could experience this area through the lens of someone who lived here back in the 1920s or the early 1900s at the beginning of the inception of Wichita.
There's a walking app you can download on your phone that takes you on an assisted tour through the area of Wichita where the African American culture had an impact.
Having the knowledge that there were places and spaces built by people just like you can help to enrich and encourage other people to continue to learn.
Following key stops, people can see on a map where an important building used to stand, photos of what it used to look like, and even read up on why that building was important.
Prior to how the community looks today, there was another community that provided a rich culture for African Americans.
There is a history that isn't only important to Wichita, but to everywhere across the country, from the artifacts and literature to the building. Having these items preserved and displayed at the Kansas African American Museum lets people learn more about what really matters.
It's an awesome feeling to see this building?
I think people come here because they want to know the history of Wichita. And in many cases, we always have something that is in the showcase or in the exhibit that's going to give people an idea of who we are here, or where we've been, and actually where we're going.